Broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie Agenti Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in. Welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. Today is Tuesday, May the 30th, 2023. And guys, well, this is almost the end of the day. The reason why I'm laughing is I'm about to bring this guy here in a second. But anyways, now Miami versus Boston before I get into the final stuff. Last night was an ultra disappointment for Boston. Boston's my second favorite team. Okay, and I know what y'all are thinking. You're thinking, okay, they're going to trade Jaylen Brown. They're going to get rid of that core. Well, for Joe Mazzulla is not the right coach. Let's pump the brakes right here. Okay, Boston got their asses whooped last night. Let's keep it real. Okay, I never saw that coming. I thought, okay, they're going to make it competitive. Jason Tatum's going to go for 30. Jaylen Brown's going to attack the basket, which he did not do. And Joe Mazzulla's going to coach his ass off. His rookie mistake showed in Game 7. You can't shoot 42 threes and make 9 of them. You can't do it. If you're shooting over 30 threes as a team, you're going to lose. Or 10 to 30 threes as a team. The one person I'm also mad at, this guy is a waste of himself. What in the you're not posting up anymore. Miami does not have a big man. Kevin Love sat out the last 2 games. We don't expect that. I mean, if you get your ass in the post, you can make a difference in the series. But you want to stay on the outside and shoot threes and listen to Joe Mazzulla's ridiculous coaching calls. And now, let me get to the Joe Mazzulla in a second. First of all, you need to go to talk. People laugh, but yeah. Doc Rivers, Boston head coach. Doc Rivers brought back Boston. Even though he does not have a great record in the playoffs. Even though he has 1 championship ring. Go talk to him. Go talk to somebody that has been successful coaching. God forbid if Red Auerbach was alive, go talk to him. I don't know what other successful coaches you can talk to out there. But go talk to somebody and learn how to coach. Because your rookie's mistake, your philosophy showed up in Game 7 last night. You weren't attacking the rim. You were settling for jump shots. Your rotation was horrible last night. I just don't understand this. And then you expect Jason Tatum to be a superstar, which he is. What more can Jalen do? Sorry, not Jalen. Jason do. What more can he do on an ankle injury? He's done a lot. I'm not saying don't break up the core. I'm saying y'all have to get this right. At some point, it starts with the coach. If he comes in with a new mindset, new philosophies, new attitude, Boston will be right up there again, winning a championship. But you go into the regular season, you win 57 games. That's all fine and dandy. But I want a championship in Boston. I don't know why I'm a Boston. I'm a Spurs fan. But Boston's my second favorite team because of the culture and the organizational things they're all about. I can't wrap my mind on this of why Boston laid an egg last night. I just don't understand this. And then I was celebrating in Game 6, Derek White. First of all, I got into with somebody the other day. I said we should have never got rid of Derek White. We should have never got rid of him because Derek White was a centerpiece of our core. And they were like, well, we need to get rid of him for a first round pick. I don't care about a first round pick. You don't know how that person is going to turn out. Once they set foot in your NBA roster, it's all free game to these guys, especially Wimby. Like, we don't even know what he's going to do in the league. Now, granted, in the next couple of weeks, maybe I can throw some tape on him and I can give you my synopsis of what I see in him that makes him the number one qualified pick. But I never want to get rid of Derek White, and I don't know why the organization decided to do that. He's a winner. He's a defender. When Missoula was making those adjustments in the Philadelphia series, I said, okay, he has to come back at some point. And he did. He defended Jimmy Butler. He defended Caleb Martin. He defended Kyle Lowry. He grabbed rebounds. And we're talking about a 6'3" guard. What more can you he defended Max Strus. He defended Doug. It's a lot of guys. But we got rid of that one guy. Boston, you have some work to do. I'm not saying to get rid of this core. I'm saying it starts with the coach. It starts with, once again, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, the leaders of the team. Listen, 29, 26 years old, both of them. 34-year-old coach. The players got some growing up to do. And they have. I'm not saying get rid of the core. I'm saying let's work together. Let's work on it once again and see what happens. Give this core another 2 years to get it right. Now, in 2 years' time, you don't get it right, it's time for somebody to make a move. Maybe Jaylen Brown. Maybe Marcus Smart. But I think Jason Tatum's going to stay there for the long run. But that's 2 years down the road. Now, as far as Miami goes, congratulations, Miami. You're in the NBA Finals. After all what Jimmy Butler has said, after all what Eric Spoelstra said, Eric Spoelstra, he would never win a Coach of the Year award. They give that to coaches that are well deserved. They got that is a regular season coach. Now, if you give the award in the playoffs, my pick would be Eric Spoelstra. He's got that team with 6 or 7 undrafted free agents in the NBA Finals, making them look relevant. You got Duncan Robinson, you got Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, which, by the way, he got robbed last night. The NBA robbed him of his trophy. They robbed him. Caleb Martin got to y'all. He literally won this series for you guys. Without Caleb Martin, that y'all don't win. That's why I said. Well, that's why when I say the Lakers was Austin Reeves, you don't beat Golden State without Austin Reeves or Lonnie Walker, for that matter. You don't beat Boston without Caleb Martin. If I'm Caleb Martin today, or in the next few weeks, I'm gonna get my money elsewhere. I'm that good. I'm well deserved. You're better than your brother. That's hard to say, but hey, it happens. But now I want to bring this guy in. And this guy is emotionally upset of the Lakers, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But I want to give his takes on his boy, because Jason Tatum is his boy. So he kind of grew up with him, but I want to give his boss a takes on it. And let's welcome Gabe here.
What's going on, man? What's going on? Long time no see.
It's been a while, man.
It's been a minute.
Welcome
It's been a couple
back.
weeks. Yeah, thank you. It's been a horrible couple weeks, from being honest. I know we'll get to that in a second, but it's just been an emotional roller coaster for me, man. Hey, look, man. I think, congratulations to the Miami Heat. They played an excellent. They've been just excellent throughout the playoffs. I can't even just say this series. But Caleb Martin is different. That's a 7-game stretch where I saw him play some of the best basketball. Just at the right spot at the right time. Was able to get to his own shot and create his own shot. Like, there's a lot of potential there. And I think, I don't know if Miami's going to be able to pay him when the time comes.
That's a tough decision.
But to me, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Give him what he wants. If you keep that core together, Jimmy, Caleb, Duncan Robinson, Bam can be traded. I'm not a Bam fan at all. Bam is probably the most overrated player on that team.
Why did you say that?
He's not great. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He reminds me of Serge Ibaka. And I just, like, even last night watching him, he was so irritating to watch. Like, dude, like, what are you doing? You missing point blank layups. And I'm not a Miami fan, so I can only imagine how they feel. I can only imagine how you feel because I've watched him on numerous occasions and it's been the same thing. So I truly think that Bam is incredibly overrated. It's embarrassing. But yeah, they have a very young core of all undrafted free agents who are all steals in my opinion. Miami is a solid team, but they got their work cut out for them because I think Denver is the best team in the NBA. And I think they have been all season. I was in denial because I'm a Laker fan. I refused to believe it. I was like, no, they're going to have to show me. And they showed it. They did exactly that. So Miami got a tough task ahead, and I don't think that they have enough to really go again. Like, I got that series going 4-1 Denver. Yeah, I got Denver winning in 5. But I say all that to say Miami is talented. They're a scrappy team. They play really smooth, quality basketball. Like, I have a lot of respect for Miami, especially Jimmy Butler. He's a dog, and he's been that for years. I mean, we've known that. If you've been watching the NBA long enough, you know who Jimmy Butler is. Nobody's surprised by this. But it's just his leadership, his ability to, like, literally last year he predicted exactly where they are right now. That was incredible seeing that clip last night when they showed it during the game.
I saw that same clip too.
So, again, congratulations to the Miami Heat. Great series, great job. Boston they fought. I have a lot of respect for Boston too. That if I'm a Boston fan, being down 3-0 and still being able to push it to 7 and have a chance to win it at home, that's all that you can ask for. So again, Boston did what they were supposed to do. Joe Mazzulla, I know people got him in question right now, but I think we need to see a full season of him.
We have.
Kind of, because Ime Udoka, that situation happened earlier in the year. Exactly. He wasn't anticipating being the head coach. He wasn't prepared at all. So him having his preparation, him being able to build his staff, I think it changes the culture of that team. And they'll be right back next year. I'm not worried about Boston at all. Jaylen Brown concerns me.
Why does he concern you?
Just because last night I saw him turn the ball over 8 times. 9 times, I think it finished. He turned the ball over 9 times, shooting 7 for 20-something from the field. Big games, I've seen him become a shell of himself. And I've seen that with JT too. That's my dog, but I've seen that with him too. And I guess as they grow and mature in this league, I think that'll kind of alleviate, that'll dissipate at a certain point. But I don't know. It's something about Jaylen Brown and his inconsistency. His inconsistency shows up more. At least Jason Tatum, when he's not consistent shooting, he can affect the game in other ways. even if, like on the very least, if he's not scoring well, he's gonna give you 10 assists and 7 boards. Like that's the difference. Jaylen Brown, if he's not shooting well, his whole demeanor changes.
He's depressed.
Yeah,
It's just
and the whole Celtics team had a horrible shooting night last night. To even start, they didn't make a single 3-pointer in the first quarter.
oh my god. Yeah, I saw that stat.
They no 3-pointers in the first quarter, and they shot 8 of them. So not only are they not shooting well, but they're living and dying by that shot. That's really what did them in last night. Was their shooting. They shot, I think when the game finished, they shot like 24% from the field or something crazy like that. It was very, very bad. It was a horrible shooting night for them. And that's not the norm, but I think, again, like coming back from 3-0 is a thing that we haven't seen for a reason.
Right.
It's a lot of energy that goes into that, even just getting it to a Game 7. That's why there's only 5, I think, is it 4 or 5 teams that have done it in NBA history that forced a Game 7 after being down 3-0. So, again, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I think they looked burnt out to me.
Oh, they did.
Last night, they looked burnt out. The shots that they were shooting, they just didn't feel like driving to the hole at all. It was just a jump shot fest. And I feel like they just kind of quit at a certain point. Miami beat them into submission.
Get quits.
Yeah, Miami beat them into submission. And again, kudos to Eric Spoelstra. He's gonna go down as one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen.
He will never win a Coach of the Year award.
He won't win a Coach of the Year.
It's really surprising that he's never.
Because he's a student. That's the difference with Eric Spoelstra and a lot of these other coaches. He's a student. He comes from the video staff. So he was a video assistant when he was like back in the day. So in the Alonzo Mourning era. So he's been in this Miami system for a long time, and he knows that you're not going to find everything out in the regular season. The teams that are the most successful in the regular season, a lot of them don't win. Because they think they have everything figured out going into the playoffs, and then when playoff time comes and problems arise, coaches don't know how to handle it. And so that's why you won't see him win a Coach of the Year award, because he's not a regular season coach. He coaches for the playoffs. All of his preparation is for the playoffs. You can tell. It's very easy to see. That's why when Miami got into the play-in and everybody's like, what this 8 seed going to do? They ain't going to do nothing. And now they're in the NBA Finals. There's a reason for that. He prepared them for the playoffs. There's injuries and things that happen throughout a regular season that people can't anticipate. It's a lot of lineup changes. There's a lot of shifts and moves. Yeah, it's 82 games. You got 82 games to figure out who you're gonna ride with going into the playoffs. And if coaches really took that mentality, we might even see some more coaches step into this Eric Spoelstra kind of role, because you have to value studying, value being a student. As a coach, that's what I want to see. I mean, I want to see my coaches actually study this game to a T so they can understand when playoff time comes, it's on. I know my lineup front to back. I know what Kevin Love did not play a minute in this series.
He played game up until Game 5.
I don't remember him playing at all in the series.
No, he played.
I don't remember him getting minutes, but
I remember in Game 4 he played 5 minutes because of his back. So I guess he tried to grab a rebound, and then he felt something in his lower back. So he went out.
I thought that was last series.
It was this series. Because he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't play
Well,
Game 5, Game 6, or last night.
The point still stands. The point I was making still stands. Because you have to know how to move and change things within your lineup. That's what Darvin Ham did not do. Why was D'Angelo Russell still in that game? I know we're going to get to it. But, again, those are things that as coaches, when you know your lineup and you know who you have on your squad, you know how to maneuver for the matchup that you're playing against.
Going back to Joe Mizzou, I don't think he knew that.
No, he didn't.
That's why I said Git was a successful coach this summer. That's why I said Doc Rivers. Now people will laugh, but Doc Rivers is an incredible head coach. When I was thinking about this morning, I said Doc Rivers can coach in Phoenix. He can coach in Phoenix because Phoenix has all the pieces.
I'm gonna tell you something about Doc Rivers.
The owner knows. He almost wants to feel like he knows nothing about basketball.
I'm gonna tell you something about Doc Rivers real quick though, because I think this is where people miss it with him. He's a great coach, right?
Sure.
But if you notice, there's a reason why he's blown more 3-1 leads than any other coach in NBA history. There's a reason for that. He doesn't make adjustments. He does. If you watch the Sixers, if you watched the Clippers, if you watched those Orlando teams when he was there for like the short amount of time, pre-Dwight Howard. If you watch the Celtics, if you watch the where else did he go? The Nets.
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he was in Brooklyn for a second. Like, if you watch all of those teams, there's no adjustments being made. He's such a cerebral coach to the point where, like, yeah, he believes wholeheartedly in his plan and his agenda, and he's gonna live and die by that. And in a way, that's respectable, but in another way, I feel like you're missing it because there's a reason for it. When teams start kicking up and you got a 3-1 lead and you just start coasting and you say, oh, my plan is working, we're good. And then they start changing things and then the other team starts adjusting and then you don't fix anything, you start looking crazy. Sure. So if I'm Joe Mazzulla, Doc Rivers is not the coach because I need Joe Mazzulla to understand adjustments. I need him to adjust because for them to, I mean, I don't know who would be a great mentor for him, but he would know. He would know.
Excuse me. He has to have some sort of mentor because I felt like in this series, and even like Game 6, up until Game 6, his coaching rookie mistakes showed.
Oh, and even last night. Yeah, last night I'm seeing them shoot the ball 1,000 times, and I'm exaggerating when I say that. But
I remember Charles. I don't know who said this. I watched the whole entire post-game show. Mm-hmm. It was either Charles or Kenny or Shaq. I think it was Kenny that said, "You can't just coach by shooting the." Oh no, Chuck.
That was Chuck. Yeah, that was Chuck.
You can't just coach by shooting the threes.
Yeah.
I would tell Joe Mazzulla, you got to get with someone this summer. Seriously,
there should have been an adjustment made after the first quarter when they went 0 for 8 from the 3.
Are you talking about lineups?
I'm talking about mentality. You have to check your players.
Right.
Check your players. At the end of the day, stop shooting them damn threes. They're not going in. We're 0 for 8 in the first quarter. We're still in this game.
Yeah.
But stop shooting this three. Penetrate the glass, and then we'll play inside out. That's the difference. Y'all forcing these threes. You got Marcus Smart throwing shots up.
Marcus Smart thinking that just because he had a great Game 6, doesn't mean that's going to happen in Game 7. My other problem is Al Horford not putting, like when you said inside and out, Al Horford's not in the paint.
He's not in the paint. He's playing the perimeter.
And earlier his career when
again,
he was in Atlanta.
And again, I put that on coaching because if you watching this game, you saw the problem. Yeah. We all saw the problem. Yeah. Everybody in America who watched that game saw the problem. You are not penetrating the glass. Y'all shooting nothing but mid-range shots and threes. That's it.
They have guys that can penetrate.
Use Robert Williams. Use him. Honestly, like I think that size is would have been so crucially important.
That's why I said rotational because I saw Miami go small in the second half. They went small. They're not going to Cody Zeller. They're not even going to.
And even if they did, Robert Williams, am I saying his name right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Robert Williams is a beast. There's a reason why he was getting all them offensive rebounds because they don't have nobody that can compete. Bam is not that.
He's not grabbing offense.
He's not offense.
Bam
he's not.
Is going to what he's going to do is he's going to dive to the rim. What he's going to do is shoot his little mid-range paint shot.
That's why I call him Serge Ibaka, and I think I might be giving him a little bit too much credit on the defensive end by calling him Serge Ibaka because he don't play defense like Serge, but offensively he plays like Serge.
And that's the second guy that you ride with. with Jimmy Butler. I mean, Jimmy Butler has a lot of help, but Bam is not one of them.
No.
I'm sorry. And also, that's why I said with Joe Mazzulla, to a coaching camp. If you don't have a mentor, go to an NBA coaching camp so that you learn. You were throwing in the fire in mid-October. Okay, fine. You were nervous. You were trying to set your staff up at the last minute. Okay, great. You still managed to win 57 games. Mm-hmm. Go to a coaching camp this summer.
And he did that with talent because it wasn't his coaching. That Boston is one of the more talented teams in the league, and everybody knows it. They underachieved this year, and they shouldn't have even gotten to a 3-0 lead against an 8 seed in the East. That should never happen when you got that much talent. I'm sorry. Like, so there is some credence to what people say about Joe Mazzulla, but I think it's too soon to throw him under the bus right now.
I feel like the media will push that narrative to get Joe out of it.
Yeah.
Now remember, he's only 34 years old, Gabe.
He right there with Jimmy Butler. Yes. Jimmy Butler, he played against Jimmy Butler as a senior. They both were seniors. And Marquette, yeah. He was at West Virginia, and Jimmy Butler was at Marquette.
I remember Joe Mazzulla at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla is a pest.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a little bit of. He could add that to like Derek White's game.
Yeah.
Because Derek White can be a pest.
Mm-hmm.
I know Derek White in San Antonio. I watched Derek White in San Antonio. Derek White Pop gave him the utmost praise.
Yeah, I love Derek White. That's probably my favorite player outside of Jason Tatum on the Celtics. Like, he has that thing that I look for. Like, it's just this thing. Yeah, it's that
that's what it is.
Chris Martin thing. What's his name? Caleb Martin. Why I can't. Sorry, y'all. I can't remember nobody's name. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, Caleb is that same thing. It's that inner dog. Like, when I'm on, I'm on. I'm cooking y'all. Like,
let me just.
Yeah, and you have to have players like that. I think the biggest thing for Boston is getting consistency from their superstars. That's the biggest thing. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's consistency is what propels Boston to even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes. So when they're playing inconsistent basketball, you got Jaylen Brown shooting 25, 30% from the field. You got Jason Tatum playing on a bum ankle and trying to figure it out, trying to find out where he fits in this game. It's difficult. You're not going to overcome that, especially when Caleb Martin is shooting the lights out the gym, especially when Jimmy Butler is still being Jimmy Butler and balling. Like,
and Jimmy Butler wasn't what he was aggressive last night, but when
he picked his spots wisely.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys like that, when he's not being aggressive, guys like Duncan Robinson, guys like Max Strus, guys like Caleb Martin can come through for you.
Yeah. You got Duncan Robinson knocking down open shots. What a concept!
Oh my God! And
if he would have did that in Game 6,
he didn't even play the Milwaukee series.
That's what I'm saying. And I love Duncan Robinson personally. I think he's a very good shooter. I think he fits in. He's a great role player that fits in that can fit in the offense. Like, LeBron would love Duncan Robinson. Honestly, like, LeBron would love to play with a Duncan Robinson type, because that's that Mike Miller kind of type he fits that mold. Like, I'm a spot up shooter, and I'm gonna get to my spots and I'm gonna be there whenever you're ready for me. I'm here. That's Duncan Robinson, and I actually like that a lot. Miami is just good. I gotta be honest. They play like the better team, even though on paper Boston is the better team. Boston plays stupid basketball, and they have all season. Just being totally honest, they play really stupid basketball. Like, they turn the ball over a lot. I've never seen, like, Jason Tatum, again, that's my guy. But, bro, you're traveling entirely too much. I've never seen as many traveling calls in my life. Like, traveling, I feel like in the NBA, at an NBA level, traveling is so rare. Like, it trips you out when they really call it travel on that? Like, yeah, so I think Boston got some stuff to figure out.
They got some rotational stuff to figure out, because I felt like their rotation was tested.
Yeah, and I think Al Horford is getting older. You need to invest in another big.
That's tough. That's gonna be tough. Through free agency or through the draft, that's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be difficult.
It's gonna be a tough.
It's gonna be difficult, but there's ways. There's always a way. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of a player that they could have, that they could get potentially. That's a big, but it's not. It's not a lot of bigs, man. It's really not, and I think that's what they need. They need a little bit more spacing. They need a big that can play in the post for real. Because when you have everybody surrounding the 3-point line, it just looks crazy. Like, why is Al Horford playing so much high post? Like, you shouldn't be.
High post. Why is he playing so much outside?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's. They got some stuff to figure out because I think their rotation is really weird right now.
It's weird. They played a 2-man rotation.
Yeah.
So they didn't add this guy, Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser is a good shooter.
Yeah.
He compliments to Duncan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? That's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say Champagne, I know his brother. Brother plays in the Spurs. Then he was the one with the crazy hair.
I know who you're talking about.
He's going to play in the summer league.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Is Champagne playing in the summer league? See what they missed in Boston.
Yeah.
It wasn't his time right now because he's not used to the playoff atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And also Blake Griffin needs to get out of there.
What is he doing there?
He's more of a cheerleader now. He's more of a.
But is that where he's going to be anywhere now? To be honest,
I mean, as long as he's cheering, as long as he can't find a team.
Because he's just occupying a roster spot and collecting a check.
I believe so.
Like, that's what it is. Like, I'm just being honest. Blake Griffin is not the Blake Griffin of old. He wasn't that in Brooklyn.
No, he was not.
Like,
his Clipper days are behind him. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's a wrap.
He tore his ACL. It was like done.
And he had a good 4 to 5 years of great basketball. He was an all-star.
But he's more
But
of a cheerleader now.
if you telling me, because I remember when he came out, of Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Him and his brother Ben. I remember that was a fun little team to watch. And so I remember when he came out, everybody was projecting that he was gonna be just so great, like just one of the greatest to ever do it, and he's gonna dominate the league and all that. He never dominated the league.
Never.
I think Blake Griffin is probably on the list of being a bust. Like, I think he considering the expectations and considering what he ended up being, and then the injuries and all of this different stuff, I think he could end up being considered a bust. And that's another conversation that we could have on another day. But because I mean, I think the most disappointing player ever is probably Brandon Roy.
Yes.
Brandon Roy, Greg Oden was up there.
Draft night.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a lot of very disappointing players. Like, I remember even Darius Miles, like, he from St. Louis too. Darius Miles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Darius Miles.
Like,
he was definitely not focused on basketball.
he was focused on everything else but basketball. And so, you know, I think about a lot of those players sometimes, and I think Blake Griffin, unfortunately, he might make that list.
He might have to look into going overseas. It's not a bad thing for him.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing for him at this point of his career.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that what the team needs.
Mm-hmm.
What the team needs now is some players that can come in right away and produce.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, let me look at this Champagne kid in the summer league and see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at, this guy's not going to play in the summer league. Sam Hauser, what he does in the off season, because I felt like he could be complimentary to Tatum and Brown. I felt like you talk about fatigue. I think they played the most minutes in this series alone.
Yeah.
Like Sam Hauser was not used in this series barely. He was only used when they were blown out.
Real quick, can you grab that other mic? That for some reason this mic isn't coming through the way.
Sure.
It should be.
This one?
Yeah, use that one.
Okay, I'll use this one. You can use this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just pull it
All right. So with that being said, Mike Muscala is not a young player. Luke Cornett may play in the Summer League, but it's just a bunch of guys that I want to see that play in the Summer League for Boston that would translate to their success.
Yeah.
And see what Joe Mazzulla, maybe he can take a book, or maybe he can watch him film in not only from this past season, but in the Summer League as well, and see how it's being done. I'm interested to see that.
Yeah, I am too. I think Joe Mazzulla, I want to see after this year, this coming season. Then I'll start making assessments on Joe Mazzulla. I like to give coaches grace. Because of the situation.
The question got asked last night in the post-game show. I said, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not firing this guy.
No.
He's 34 years old.
To get a team to the Western Conference Finals, given the situation, like they literally lost the coach that they thought they were going to have all summer. They lost him in October.
To Houston, of all places.
Yeah, I mean, and with all the drama that came with that situation, like that was organizational drama. Like, so I think to even get that team to the Western Conference Finals, there's a lot of potential there. I just want to see them take the next step because I think the Celtics look just like the Celtics of last year that lost to Golden State
in the finals.
They look just like that same team, and they didn't take a step forward.
Right.
And so after this season, they're going to have to really assess where they are because this is a team that should have won a championship by now.
Yes, it should have been. Yeah.
It's on paper.
Right. I mean, I don't want them to get rid of this core. Marcus Smart is the catalyst of this core because he keeps everyone in line. And there's another player, Grant Williams, that I forgot to talk about. Grant Williams is up for a contract, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston should find a way to pay him because I feel like he's that complementary to their talent, to what they run. You're not going to see a type of Grant Williams player on any other team, considering the fact where these other teams are going to go right now. You're not going to see that. He fits in Boston, even though teammates hate him. He fits in Boston. He fits their core.
He does,
and so. Boston's got to find a way to pay him. Miami's got to find a way to pay Caleb Martin because I feel like somebody's going to give him the bag.
Somebody's going to – dude, he about to get so stupid paid. Like
somebody's going to give him everything.
They about to – and honestly, you might love this, but I think San Antonio might be the ones to do it.
You know what?
Because they need to – they're going to try to build around
Wemby.
Yeah.
You know what? Yes, I want to build around Wemby. I want not necessarily superstars. I want players that can produce, right? I don't want vets sitting on the bench. No disrespect to the vets sitting on the bench. I want guys like a Caleb Martin or a Grant Williams type of guy that can come in and produce. Caleb Martin will be great in our core because I feel like I see him starting. He can play all four positions. He can defend all four positions. So I feel like he can insert himself in that starting lineup right away, along with Keldon Johnson, along with Trey Jones, or is it Trey Jones? Yeah, it's Trey Jones. Who else? The other kid, Champagne, his brother, stuff like that. So Zach Collins. So we got a lot of pieces that we can add to our core if we're going to make a run next season, which I expect us to. If you got the number one pick, you're going to. I don't know how realistic this is, but you're going to make a run in the postseason. I mean, if I'm out in the first, fine. Okay, fine. We got back, but I want to win 50 games. If Tim Duncan,
that's a high expectation for a rookie, though. That's a very high expectation for a rookie.
They're comparing the stats of old. They said David Robinson was number one back in '87. Tim Duncan was number one in '97. So they said Wemby made that one. But I'm thinking if you add Wemby, you got to add one or two more guys to add that to that core.
And that's why they want Austin Reeves bad. I know the Lakers had a bag to pay Austin Reeves and still get a Kyrie type. That's what I'm hearing anyway.
Okay.
So they have enough room to play with. I don't
Yes.
think Austin Reeves is going anywhere.
You got to pay him at least. You got to pay him
he's getting
starter
paid.
money.
He's
Starter
getting paid.
money.
He
Over
might.
Lonnie Walker.
Oh yeah, easy. I mean, Lonnie Walker, he knows what level he's at. He like everybody. I think everybody's very well has a very good understanding of where they are. And financially, the Lakers have the room to pay Austin Reeves and still get another star.
Don't get Kyrie.
I mean, I personally don't want Kyrie, but I mean, I know him and Brian have chemistry. It's a lot of stuff there,
Right.
that could potentially work. Especially better than Russell Westbrook or some of the other attempts that we've made. So,
Of course.
personally, I mean, I don't want to get into the Lakers yet unless you're ready. But
I'll give my Nuggets pick here in a
got
minute.
you. Yeah, but with the Lakers, I think that I'm willing to trade AD.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I've seen enough inconsistency over the years. Just constantly. I mean, I know for a fact that he'll be injured next year at some point.
Of course.
Like I shouldn't have to feel like that with somebody who's supposed to be the centerpiece of our team. Like,
Right.
that's literally the person that LeBron is supposed to be handing the keys to. LeBron can't relax. He can't just settle into his like last few years of his career. Like, he can't do that because he constantly has to work. Like, game 4, I was sick to my stomach watching that. Like, LeBron is 38 years old and had to drop 40 points to keep y'all competitive.
Unbelievable.
At 38 years old, he shouldn't have to do that.
Unbelievable. Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is a liability at this point. And I feel like we can't rely on him. And I don't want to start it I can't rely on.
Well, save that.
Yeah.
Because I want to bring in the Nuggets. Because the Nuggets, I'm going to say, you say 5, I say 6.
Yeah.
Nuggets is 6, only because that dog mentality in Jimmy Butler. I was thinking, okay, if I was going to say Nuggets in 5, but I'm saying Nuggets in 6 because I feel like Miami has a chip on their shoulder. After what I saw last night, I said, there's no way Jimmy Butler is making them lose to the finals again. So give me Nuggets in 6 because of Jokic, Murray, and Michael Malone. And you can add guys like Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, and a Christian Brown. Now remember, in game 2, it was a stupid error on Christian Brown. I can't remember what he did. Christian Brown is a rookie from Kansas. He's going to be a decent role player in this league, but the time is not now.
Yeah.
It's not now. He sat out the last 2 games of that series because he made a stupid error.
Yeah.
It was just really stupid on the court. So Michael Malone said, sit down. We're going to roll with Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. And that's what they did. Short rotation, but that's what they did. Jokic cannot be stopped. I mean, you saw in that Lakers series, I was cheering for somebody to defend Jokic. Rui got him high. So Jokic is not a physical big man, but Jokic used his skills to his assets.
Yeah.
Rui is a stronger guy. The problem that I have with that series is that they took Rui out of the game off Jokic and they put Anthony Davis on there. Why not put Rui still in the game to guard Jokic versus Anthony Davis?
Because, and I agree with you on that, because Anthony Davis doesn't defend skill well.
He doesn't defend his man well.
He doesn't defend
the
size
paint.
and skill.
He defends the paint.
Yeah, he's a paint defender.
Yes.
He's not I'm going to catch you
One-on-one.
at the high post
Of course.
and play one-on-one with you. Nah, that's not who he is. Like, now, he defended Steph Curry well in the late games and stuff like that, but that's because of his length.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
on the
switching.
smaller, they're
They
switching
switched a lot.
off. Yeah, it was a lot of switching off of picks and
Yes.
screens and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, it worked. But he's not that guy. He's not going to defend you from the top of the key to to the glass. Like no, he's in the paint.
Not.
So I agree with that.
He's not. So when they took that out, that's fair game for Denver. So give me Nuggets in 6 because of those 3 guys, and I said it, and I was right. So, but speaking of your Lakers, Gabe.
Yes.
Your Lakers. So I listened to Stephen A. in his podcast I think it was on Sunday when I heard this. And I was thinking, he was questioning Anthony Davis' work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron has started his work. He started his work ethic back in after the series is over. After the season is over, he's working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even before the game 4, he was working on the court. Everyone saw that 5 hours before the game. Yes, that's how committed a 30-year-old man is. And I question Anthony Davis' work because of the injuries, and not only the injuries, but taking care of your body. You can't have. That's why I remember saying this a few podcasts episodes back. I said you can't not allow these trainers to take care of you full time. You at some point you got to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to work on your craft early. You are 30 years old and still in your prime.
Yeah.
And still have a jersey on your back.
Mm-hmm.
There's numerous guys that will want to be in your position that can produce better that can have more durability at that age than Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron has that durability, but you're asking a man who's played over 1,000 playoff games, has knocked out, over 11,000 minutes on that body to give you 40 points in one playoff game. And then everybody says he didn't do enough. I'm like,
what do you want him to do? I can finish that sentence for you. What the hell do y'all want him to do?
5 hours before the game. 5 hours.
There's literally nothing that he could have done different.
Guys are sleeping still.
If everybody else is not producing, this is a team sport. Everybody got to stop it when it comes to LeBron because they want LeBron to be God.
Right.
Y'all have to stop. Like, it frustrates my entire being. Like, bro, I've seen this man put teams on his back. Yes. I've seen him drop 48-12 against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. I witnessed that with my own eyes. I've seen him do amazing things because he was blessed with that level of gift.
Sure.
That is all true. But he doesn't win any of these games without his teammates. I say the same thing about Jordan. Jordan don't win 6 championships without Scottie.
Or Tony Kukoc.
Or Tony Kukoc. Steve Kerr. Anybody that you want to name that was on that team. Mm-hmm. He can't score 120 points by himself. It's not realistic. So everybody has to stop. The moment the people around him aren't producing, and if you got a player like Anthony Davis who lives on the ground,
right,
constantly injured, constantly something going on. It's like every time you catch a rebound, you got to fall. Like, dog, you are not. You're not durable enough to be falling all the time. Every time you fall, I get nervous.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, bro. Like I can't sit up here and condone this behavior. This is ridiculous.
You can't.
At the end of the day, you are not working on your game. It's clear. You're too inconsistent. There's to me, consistency is what equals success, right?
Yes.
Anthony Davis will go down as probably one of the most inconsistent players to ever play this game.
Of course.
As talented as he is, he is the most inconsistent. He's been that way before he got to the Lakers. He was that way in New Orleans. Yep. He's been that way since he's been in the league. This is not new. Mm-hmm. But to me, he was dominant enough to where it balanced out. Right. Now with the injuries, he's not that dominant. He's not that same player. Right. He has moments of greatness. He has moments of outstanding play. But dog, like, no. You don't get to be that inconsistent when you playing with a 38-year-old who needs help at this point.
He doesn't have that help.
He don't have any help.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have that help. And And they always play. Speaking of living on the ground, those kids commercials. The milk commercials back in the day.
Yeah,
that make you stronger.
Yeah.
I don't think Anthony Davis takes that seriously, and takes that seriously.
He needs some milk.
He needs some milk, and he needs some strength, because strength gets you more durability. That's why LeBron can last in the league because of strength. Kobe lasts because of strength.
Yeah.
Jordan lasts because of strength.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, like you said, LeBron needs help. He doesn't have that help right now.
Because LeBron is not a 40-point a game player now, and he never really has been that. Like, he's always needed role players and people around, because he's a smart, intelligent basketball player.
Right.
So yeah, even though he probably could put up 40 a night,
he could,
based upon his skill level.
Right.
But he's like, no, I know the value of getting my teammates involved.
Right.
That's been his game since day one. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if his teammates, he's trying to get them involved, he's feeding them beautiful passes,
right,
and they not making shots, what the hell do you want him to do? I just don't understand.
That's why they value Jordan over LeBron, because Jordan had teammates. Jordan had consistent teammates. Yeah. See the difference, Gabe. The difference is that, and I can understand, and I try to understand everyone's point, but I'm not disrespecting LeBron ever. Mm-hmm. When Jordan had his teammates, the work ethic back then was fabulous.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr, John Paxson, Scott, all those guys had a considerable work ethic, right, in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Right now, you're asking guys to get into the weight room. You're asking guys to work on with a trainer. You're asking guys to just be consistent, and that's not. We live in a different era.
We do.
That's people that don't want to work.
It's a great point.
Basically,
yeah.
That's what it is.
But there was a scrappiness about the 90s and the early 2000s that we will never see again, because they understood work.
Right.
You don't get to this level without work. There's a lot of guys in this league today that, not to say that they haven't put in the work to be there, but that, how can I phrase this? They don't have to understand it, because the game is so three happy, right? The game is shifted.
Of course.
It's so three happy. And if you master a 3-point shot, you have a job. You can make millions of dollars. It don't require you to just by solely making 3-point shots or playing good defense. Like, there's a lot more specialized players out there. And not to say that there weren't back then, but it was just different. Everybody knew how to play basketball.
Right. Back then.
Yeah. You didn't just, it wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna master the defensive end of things. I'm gonna master my 3-point shot. Right. They're picking specific areas to specialize in because it's making the money, and I respect it. But at the same time, it's missing a lot of that grit. It's missing a lot of that.
It is
that hard nosed, blue collar
defender,
basketball player. Because honestly, everybody on the court was a basketball player. They played all levels of the court. Right. At some point in their life. You know what I'm saying? It was just different.
Right.
It was different.
It's different now because that's why I said you don't have guys that want to work. You got guys that want to do half work, and then you got guys that want to work but want to do the other things.
They want to do enough to get their money.
Exactly.
It's a higher dollar amount.
It's not the three. Let me tell you, the 3-pointers don't bring you anything at all. They don't. They don't at all. And to your point, I've seen guys that are useless basketball players. Yeah. That run to the 3-point line on a fast break. Yeah. Shooting a three. Like,
if you go to the rec now, we've talked about this before.
Exactly.
If you go to the rec now, basketball that's being played is totally different than what it was like when we were growing up.
Do you know the 3-man weave, 5-man weave?
Of course.
So what do they tell you every time? You always got to get a layup, right? Yeah. I wonder. I gotta go to a practice one day. I wonder how these players are doing it now. I want to know how the 3 to the 5-man weave is being run right now.
Because they used to get mad at us if we ended the 3-man weave with a jump shot.
Oh my God!
That used to be
Oh my god.
hit the baseline.
Oh my god.
that was a big You in your 3-man weave with a layup or a dunk.
Right.
That was the game. The outlet pass is going to the corner.
Right.
It's going to. You see what I'm saying? It's totally different.
I got to see this on film. I got to go watch a practice in person and watch it on film and see how those weaves are being run.
Yeah.
Because to me, how the 5-man weave is, you pass, like the mid person has the ball, pass it to one side, pass it to the other side, then the 2 outside guys are running to the rim.
Yeah.
To the point where the middle guy that had the ball gets the ball and lays the ball up.
I'm telling you because I've seen it.
Right.
They're going to the corners. They're not going to the rack no more. Like, I'm telling you right now.
I gotta go see a practice there.
Yeah.
I gotta go watch a college practice.
Yeah,
See what
exactly
happens.
what you just described. How we used to, we coming around the edge and we're going to the hole.
Of course.
No, they're going to the corners. They're going to that corner 3. That's why even if you watch fast breaks now, you have one guy that goes to the rim. You got another guy that goes to the corner. I'm telling you, just pay attention to how they do fast break.
I try not to pay attention because it's ridiculous. I feel like it's gonna be
Shooting a 3 on a fast break.
I'm like, dude, no.
Doug, shooting a 3 on a fast break, and I get it. Like now,
Rhythm.
exactly.
You got. That's why I tell players all the time. You got to have rhythm.
Yeah.
Rhythm. Like if you're not, rhythm means that you got to come off the screen and your hands ready to shoot the 3.
Yeah.
I love how Duncan Robinson does it. Duncan Robinson is the example of a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. He's what Steve Kerr was back in the day.
Right. His hands are always ready. I hate the fact that he has to take another dribble to create a shot, but that's his game. It's okay because he can make that shot.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like that old guy that's like, get off my line. Like, like I don't want to sound like that. But I just think that like the game is just so different.
It's way different.
It's so drastically different. Like being a big man, I remember being a big in like middle school,
right,
and getting yelled at for shooting jump shots. Like, it was such a big deal. Like, why are you get on the block? Get on the block. Like, why are you even a high post? If we weren't running pick and roll, a high post was a problem.
Oh my gosh. Even not running pick and roll, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Yeah.
But that's why that's what I'm saying. That's why, speaking of that, Austin Reeves is not a 3-point shooter. Austin Reeves can create his own shot. That's why I feel like
he's a scorer.
If a team, God forbid, I hate this team, Detroit came out of the woodworks and said, we're going to pay you $100 million, he's going to take that money. Like, uses teams like that are going to look for quality talent.
Yeah. The
Spurs are not a useless team. It's just that the season happened. Yeah. We traded Derek White. We traded DeJounte to get number 1. Bull crap.
Yeah.
But we add a complimentary guy like that, he can bring wonders to your team. And I feel like he'd be the number 1 scorer.
Yeah.
Lonnie Walker is, like I told you, San Antonio was up and down. Like with the Lakers, it was more down than up. Up was the Warriors series. Down was when he didn't play.
Yeah.
He didn't play. He was in the rotation.
Yeah.
So Darvin Ham got outcoached this series. That's why I said you have to sit behind quality coaches. Like, for example, Pop. I can bring Pop into this equation. Pop has won 5 championships. Pop has won over 1,400. Well, he's getting close to 1,400. He's number 1 all time. Go talk to him. He's 74 years old. Go talk to him. Go sit down and learn his philosophies.
But I'm gonna be honest. Unless you coached under these people, I don't see a lot of coaches mentoring other coaches.
They should.
I think they should too, but I don't see that often.
They should. The game would be better that way.
I agree. I mean, you can say the same thing for players, but these young players don't care about the old dudes. They don't want to hear from LeBron.
You're right.
You just saw that in the Memphis series. Like, they talking crazy to LeBron. As if he hadn't had 20 years in this league and broke an all-time scoring record. Like, you talking to him like he's just some bum off the street. Like, bro, are y'all crazy? Do y'all know that there's no reverence anymore?
Right.
for legends, and I see that across the board, even outside of sports. Like there's no
Of course.
reverence for
Of course.
what somebody else has accomplished.
Right.
And I think that's a problem because you miss out on key things that could take you to the next level.
Right.
That you can't anticipate as a young player.
Yep.
As a young person in general.
That's why I said these players have time. Like somebody like a Kevin Garnett has time. Somebody like LeBron has time to mentor. Who else? Shaq, Charles, even though that's a bad example. Kenny Smith has time to mentor these younger guys.
But they have to want to be mentored. That's my whole point. Mm-hmm. You can't.
That's the biggest thing.
I think a lot of these players
pick up the phone.
Are retired, are older now. Like
pick up the phone.
You have to want to be mentored. I'm sure that if LeBron is the one player that I've seen like dap up players at the end of a game and like be whispering in their ear, telling them stuff like.
Right.
It's Jason Tatum is a perfect example of that. LeBron kind of like was like, look, bro, I see what you could be.
Right.
Tap in. Like players will do it if given the opportunity, but you have to be willing to be taught. Like at the end of the day, LeBron is not your peer. Dylan Brooks, LeBron is not your peer. Y'all are not peer. Y'all are not in the same conversation. Your peers are younger than you. I'm just saying, like. LeBron is your OG, not a peer. There's a difference. There's no reverence for the OG.
Of course.
I think like whether that's in the streets, whether that's in basketball, whether that's in entertainment, there's no reverence for those people that came before. And I think that's a massive problem that we have in our culture.
Big problem.
We don't have any respect or reverence. And there's so many steps that could be skipped and so much pain that could be avoided if you would just listen.
Or pick up the phone and just call them. Or just schedule a workout.
Don't be too proud to ask. We have a bad habit of that in black culture of not asking questions.
Yeah.
When we're in position to do so.
No question is a bad question.
I'm not exempt. I'm not wanted to ask stuff because I was like, I can figure it out.
Same here.
I'm not exempt. I've done it. So that's what I'm saying. Even outside of this is bigger than the NBA. Like this is something that like we gotta really get out of or we'll never grow.
Right.
So
that's where we're failing right now because we don't talk to the OGs that have excelled in their profession. So would it get better? We'll see.
Yeah.
But I want to know, speaking of work ethic, what would you I brought this question last week to somebody that I had a guest on. Do you see LeBron retiring?
No, not anytime soon. I think we still got at least another 2-3 years.
That's what I said that's what I said, and that's what we both agreed it was last week.
Yeah, I think that was a message when he said what he said after the game. I think that was a message for the organization. That had nothing to do with him actually retiring.
He sent a message to, and also I think he sent a
Rob
message to his
Pelinka.
teammates.
I think it was Rob Pelinka and Jeannie. I think that was a message for them. It was bigger than his teammates because he's had thousands of teammates over the years. He's had a lot of transition, a lot of shifts. He not worried about them players.
Right.
He's like, look, I did what I was supposed to do. I can only do so much at the stage in my career that I'm in. He was like, look, dog, I'm tired. That was a cry for help. Like that was like, bro.
Yeah,
y'all figure this out.
I understand. I'm laughing because I feel like Rob and Gene, I'm not going to do anything.
They're not.
But
they haven't.
They're going to allow this man to suffer. I feel like they're going to drive him early to retirement, which they shouldn't.
If he does retire, he'll come back just like he'll pull a Jordan whenever it's time for his son to come in the league.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that. If they go another year and it's the same result, I can see him retiring for real because I don't think he wants to transition and go to another team unless his son is there.
Well,
so
speaking of his son,
his
son's going to USC.
He is.
I said this last week. His son's not even the best player on that team. Somebody averaged, I can't remember that name. Somebody averaged 20 points a game on that USC team, and still on their team. And so, with that being said, it's going to take him another 2 to 3 years to get adjusted to college life, get adjusted to college basketball. I feel like he will, if he averages 13 points a game, God willing. I say that respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't jump to the NBA right away. The reason why he'll jump into the NBA right away because of his dad and other things around him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't jump right away. Work on your game, work on your craft, all that stuff.
I think regardless, sorry to cut you off,
No, it's okay.
but I think regardless of whether he goes to the NBA one and done or not,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna have time to develop.
Yeah,
That's
of
the whole
course.
purpose of
course.
his dad being present. He wants to help him with his development process.
Sure.
And so I think LeBron would ultimately become more of a coach on the floor once his son
Gets
his son
to the league.
transitions.
There's a crazy stat that I saw last week. So not only LeBron is going to USC, Dennis Rodman's son, DJ, and Kobe Bryant's daughter,
Yeah, all
Natalia.
at USC at the same time.
Yes.
I saw that too.
I think Natalia's just going to school.
Yeah,
And DJ Rodman, I saw stats of him. He's pretty good. Just
Yeah.
like his father. Just like his father. His game is completely like his father. He won't see the ball as much.
yeah,
As long as Bronny and some other kid is dominating the ball, then he won't see the ball as much. He'll only be there for like cleanups and
yeah.
kind of like what his father did in the NBA. So I'm interested to see that in the summer because they're playing summer ball in the summer.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that, which will translate to the regular season in November.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I feel like LeBron needs to take his time and not readjust, but like just relax a little bit.
And I think he will. And I think that's my whole point. I think that LeBron is in a position where he's like, I'm good. Like, my
4
career is
championships.
solidified, 4 chips, all-time leading scorer. What I mean,
You're
what do you
just
want?
playing basketball at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just playing.
You're gonna go down as one of the top 2 greatest players to ever play this game, regardless of whether you
And
win another championship or not.
It's always going to be the same debate.
Yeah, there's always gonna be a debate, and there's nothing that LeBron can do at this point will change the Jordan fans'
Right.
opinion, and nothing that obviously Jordan can do at this point is gonna change the LeBron opinion. People, you know what I'm saying? Everybody,
Right.
it's an opinionated topic. Whatever you feel is what you feel. But I just know for me, if I'm LeBron in this situation, like I'm playing with house money at this point. I'm 38 years old. I just dropped 40 in the Western Conference Finals. I'm still top 5 player in the league at my age today.
Wow.
Nobody will ever
When
be
he
able to
said
say that
that,
again.
When he said that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like,
Yeah.
he's literally top 5, better than these guys out here.
He's probably one of the smartest basketball players we've ever seen play
In this generation.
in this generation. Like I think we're gonna miss the days when LeBron is not around. I think we're not gonna get it until he's no longer here. As far as like in the league,
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna understand it
I think
until he's out of the league.
I think his life is going to be talked about throughout forever.
Yeah,
Whatever his daughter does,
yeah,
his wife does, what LeBron does, his life is going to be talked about forever.
yeah. Because you got to think we're still in it. He's still active. He's still
Of course.
playing. He's not going anywhere.
Of course.
He's gonna play at least at bare minimum, at least another year or 2.
I'm going to say 3 years.
And I will go 3 too. I
Mm-hmm.
will go 3 as well. But yeah, we got a ways to go. He gonna set that scoring record so high, but he probably will hit 40,000.
Oh, wow.
I can see him hitting 40.
He'll still average like 25 points a game.
Yeah, because he can do that in his sleep, and that's the craziest part. Like, he's not a scorer necessarily, but he can still average 25 points in his sleep without a whole lot of effort. So
Jeez, it was a whole lot of effort.
yeah, I think, yeah, we're witnessing something that we'll probably never see again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want people, haters included, to just appreciate what we got while we got it.
Exactly. Stop
because it's going to be a
negative.
massive hole when he's not here.
Stop appreciating the negative talent.
Yeah,
John Morant. I mean, that's what the negative talent talks about. Negative talks about negative. Let's talk about more LeBron and Steph. All these guys.
Yeah.
Like if
this is an era of basketball that we'll never get back. We got players that have literally changed the game.
Golly. LeBron changed the game for real.
LeBron changed the game.
Steph changed the game
on multiple levels. Steph completely changed the way that players play.
Gosh.
I'm just putting that in perspective. We're witnessing an era of basketball, and LeBron is a part of really two major eras of basketball. If you think about the 03 draft class, all of those guys, Melo, D-Wade, him, who else? I think Kyle Korver was in that draft or something like that. It was a lot of stars that are players that became stars in that draft.
Right.
And after that. So, that's an era of basketball that we won't get back.
We won't. And we won't. We will never get that back. And, speaking of Melo, I said this last week, and I want to say this to you. I wish Melo would have got a championship ring. I feel like George Karl. I'm going to blame George Karl on that because George Karl, at the time,
he got outcoached by Phil Jackson.
He did.
Just being real, and he's not the only one.
No,
he's not the only one. Did. But those Lakers teams during that time were something different.
He didn't care about his players.
Nah,
he didn't. He wasn't responsible for the younger core.
Nah.
So when Melo was in that young phase, he wasn't pulling Melo aside and saying, "Hey, you need to be this." That's where the organization was back George Karl back then. And I blame George Karl for everything.
Yeah.
For everything.
That team was too good.
Team was too good. To not win a championship.
Like Kenyon Martin in his prime.
Nene
in
Hilario, which
his prime.
He changed his name to Nene. Who else? Anthony Carter. Off the bench.
J.R. Smith.
Oh, man. That's a lot of guys.
They had some dogs on that team.
Aaron Aflalo.
Aaron Aflalo.
Yeah, yes. 3-point shooter.
Yes.
Dude,
that team was amazing.
You would never get that team back.
I remember I was playing NBA Live back then. And that was my team. That was the team that I always used to play with. And I used to beat the brakes off of everybody with them.
Wow.
Denver was the team that I always used to play with on that game, and that's how I always, during that time, like early 2000s, that was what I was doing. I was I was watching the games and then going to play.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of memories with that Denver team, and then you can't even forget about when AI got there.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about that either.
That was a great time because AI was still balling.
Exactly,
like he was coming right from Philly. And going there and balling out. Like,
oh my gosh. I was like, finally, there's a championship.
Yeah.
There's a championship. Finally.
We thought that they had found the missing piece. Like, yeah, they got another superstar.
And it failed.
But Kobe had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Kobe had a lot to do with that. And I'm going to be honest.
To George Karl to this day.
If LeBron was in the West earlier, I don't think LeBron would have had. Like Kobe was stopping a lot of people from getting chips. Like that was them Lakers teams was just something serious, and they didn't have a lot of stars. It was just Kobe and role players,
right?
But the league was different, so you could play like that.
You can, and I can understand why. I understand why LeBron would say those things, and also Melo. His best days were in Denver. I feel like if you put players around him.
I can't say that because he was balling as a Knick. He was
still.
I know what you're saying. I get what you mean.
Those organizations failed them.
The organizational issues that Melo faced was the problem.
Right.
But those Knick teams, when he first got there, the early Knick teams, dog, they was killing. Like they didn't make it to what the levels that they should have made it. But again, I think that was organizational.
That was organizational.
But those teams, Amari Stoudemire.
Who else was on that team?
They had, I think Stephon Marbury was still there when he first got there.
Yes, Stephon Marbury went to China.
Yeah, he ended up going to China right after Melo got there, like a year.
Oh yeah,
two.
That's right. 2010.
That Jeremy Lin, that was Lin Sanity era. He was there
Landry
for
Fields.
Landry Fields.
Who else did you have?
I'm blanking on some of those players,
Golly.
but they were like Melo was. I think his highest level of basketball by himself as a solo player was played in New York.
Yeah. He could play by himself in New York.
Yeah.
Because, oh, man, I just remember those rhythm, that's what I said, rhythm threes.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he hit one shot, it could be like a mid-range shot. Then he'll come down the court on the fast break and just shoot a three and he'll make it.
Yeah.
And so I
Denver
wish.
was young Melo.
That was young Melo.
But young Melo was a dog.
He was.
He honestly, at that time when he was in Denver, he could have been considered the best out of that draft.
He could have.
If it wasn't for 06 D Wade.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for my dog.
And it would have been, if it wasn't for George Karl's foolish adjustments.
Yeah.
His foolish coaching.
Yeah. Because Melo never got to the finals. D Wade and Brown both did before.
Golly. That's sad.
So, yeah.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
But salute to Melo, man.
Love Melo. Melo's going to go down as one of my favorite players to ever play the game.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame for sure. But I appreciate your insights.
Absolutely.
We're going to transition to the Cowboys talk. I got some players we need to look out for the 2023 season.
Let's do it.
And also, let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins. Is he going to be on this team? I will want him on this team. Let's talk about it on the other side. Is Fishbowl ready to be on the game?
Yes, sir.
Say I'm there for poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'ma spend this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10. I can put the ball in the end zone, put a bad bitch in the friend zone. This shit sound like an intro jet song, give me that tempo. Told Pooh he a fool with the shit. Told her don't let her friends know. In the Ville and I move like a dime. Eating fettuccine at Vincenzo's. Me and my amigos got that free smoke on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm talking about pre-rolls. Dark hair bitch and she look like she go. She do. Hometown hero, feeling myself, can't murder my ego. She heard of my deep stroke. She said, babe, does it hurt when I deep throat? It does. Certified freak hoe, hang around dust and she learning my lingo. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. Goddamn. Spending money at the club like Sam's. Yes, ma'am. She a little freak on cam. But she don't put this on the ground. Little boys doing this on the ground. Hey, I can't switch on the fan. Shit's hot, hit the switch on the fan. This where my head is. I feel resentment from every direction. Even some homies be wearing expressions. I be discouraged from sharing my blessings. We used to share a connection. Now it just feels like it's wearing and stretching. I'm getting real sick of taking advice from people that never could stare at reflections. Somewhere in there is a lesson. Y'all ain't involved and it's very depressing. I'm at the club with the basketball team. Me and the Cardinals are sharing the section. Gotta cherish the present. I'm drinking water and wearing protection. Got a career and I'm very invested. Some people call it a scary obsession. I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. PG, we getting some traction. I'm at the venue, it's packed in. I'm digging her accent. I got a BB Simon belt on me and she tryna get it unfastened. That's my type of distraction. That's my type of she Latin. Got my own flow and I'm about to get a patent. Brand new sheets for the bed they satin. Y'all wasn't tuned in back then. My swag they keep jacking. I ain't doing no verse, quit asking. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'ma spend this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
Shit, but I'm cold every season. Know he got that pipe, let him bust it till it's leak. Yeah, booty like a pillow, he can use it while he sleeping. Look, don't be going through my phone, cause that's the old me. Ain't the only one tryna be my one and only. Real thick, moving slow, that body like codeine. He a player, but for making it, cutting the whole team. That body, looking nice. I got cake and I know he wanna slice. I wish a nigga would try to put me on ice. I ain't never had to chase dick in my life. I want that nasty, that freaky stuff. Live under my bed and keep me up. That hand-selling girl to let him eat me up. Cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. Ooh, baby, we can go fast. I'll drive and you just lay back. I got the flavor, the last, yeah, the sweetest pie. I might take you home with us. I might give you all of it. Come get your dose of the sweetest pie. Ooh, this the ride of your life. Hold on, cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. You got me hung up from across the room. I'm so high that I'm on another altitude. And on my cloud, I got some space for you. Got a taste for you. Won't bounce to the ounce. Pick it up, put it down. Wanna put his nutty buddy in my fudge round. I'm tight than a bitch, he ain't had it like this. Toes curling like they throwing gang signs on crib. One thing about me, I ain't taking no shit. He will, I know it's pissing off his old bitch. Caesar, Milan, I got his ass trained. Try to let a dog know who really running things. You've never been to heaven, have you? Ooh, this 'cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie. Ooh, baby, we can go fast. I'll drive and you just lay back. I got the flavor, the last, yeah, the sweetest pie. I might take you home with us. I might give you all of it. Come get your dose of the sweetest pie. Ooh, it's the ride of your life. Hold on, 'cause baby, I might just give you a bite of the sweetest pie.
Real hot girl shit. Me and Dua Lipa finna get the party lit.
Just give you a
Welcome back to the Beyond Game podcast right here on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie again. So, anyway, I listed these top 10 Cowboys players who need to bounce back in 2023. Okay, so let me give you the first two because the first two have something to do with DeAndre Hopkins, Dak Prescott, and Michael Gallup. Okay, let me start with Michael Gallup first. Michael Gallup, you are in a make or break year. Dak, too. The reason why I say Michael Gallup is because Michael Gallup, you're the second receiver on this team. Okay. Now, if it brings DeAndre Hopkins in, you're dropped down to number 3, or even better yet, you're on the bench. We don't need you. Even though you feel great, we don't need your less talented. You're lesser of a talent. We don't need that. I need a consistent receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is consistent. It's just that he was playing with a poor quarterback. And I say this respectfully, Kyler Murray, because I know you live in this area. You love this area. But you are inconsistent. DeAndre said, you know what? This guy's inconsistent. I'm not going to show up to minicamp. I'm going to go and make myself available elsewhere. The Cowboys fit. Dak, you have a number 2 receiver. Work on your game. You have not shown up in OTAs. Well, is it OTAs or minicamp? I think it's minicamp. I need for you in this next week or two to show up, to work on your game, to work on your craft. We just talked about work in the last break. You are not working on your game, period. I don't know what you're doing in all season. We're about to hit June. June turns into July, and then training camp starts, and then now you're forced to throw a football again at the end of July. I guarantee that's going to happen. I guarantee you that's going to happen. This is why you put up the numbers that you put up, because you're not locked in. Now you could have a second receiver that can help you out. When CD gets doubled down the field, we can't turn to Michael Gallup. We can't even turn to Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks does not know our offense yet. We can turn to Hopkins. Hopkins may not know but Hopkins is a phenomenal receiver. He said he wants to play with a consistent quarterback. Well, obviously Dak may be consistent. I don't know. But Dak has that talent to be consistent. Now, Gabe, what do you think? What do you think about DeAndre Hopkins being on this team, sir?
I would love for DeAndre Hopkins to be on this team, but he don't want to come here because of Dakota Rain Prescott. Honestly, like, he put out his list of the teams that he wanted to be on. Buffalo was on the list. The Chargers were on the list.
What?
Philly was on the list.
I didn't see that list.
It was some other. Baltimore was on the list.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
They have Odell. They should be good.
Okay.
Odell's healthy according to him.
Okay. I was just saying, we weren't on the list. That's the bottom line. You know why? Because, like you said, he wants to play with a consistent quarterback. Who don't we have? What don't we have?
We don't have a consistent quarterback.
Say it with your chest. Go on, say it right out.
We don't have a consistent quarterback.
Yeah.
We have a quarterback that is unfocused and undetermined.
Facts. Period. There it is. There it is. So the reality is, anytime you throw that many interceptions, you're going to lose a lot of the major players that want to have consistency, that really want to win, because you can't throw that many interceptions and expect to win games. I get it. Like, bro, I love Dak as a person. We all talk about the man that he is. He's such a great guy and all this other stuff like that. But on the field, bro, he is about as inconsistent as Anthony Davis. I'm just being honest. Like, you have a game where he looks like the best quarterback in the league, and then you have a game where he looks like the worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
So it's just so up and down that I don't see the Cowboys making a run at anything. And unfortunately, Michael Gallup needs to show up, but the reality is, if he can't get the ball, it doesn't matter. He can be as open as he want to be. So I'm just a realist at this point.
I understand, man.
I have to be like that, or else I'm gonna have my heart broken.
Right.
Every single year. They're not about to get me started this year,
dude.
Because we already know how it's gonna go. They're gonna start off playing great ball. They're gonna start. We went through the schedule.
We went through the schedule, yes.
And we both said the exact same thing.
Yes.
Like, they'll finish with a 11-6 record somewhere along those lines. Everybody's like, oh yeah, we going to the playoffs.
Don't make the wild card.
Yeah,
and
make the wild card, and they're gonna lose in a heartbreaking fashion, like they always do. So I'm not getting invested with this team. I don't believe in none of these dudes. Not one of them.
You don't believe in Trayvon Diggs? That's the number 3 on my list. Can he bounce back? He had 11 interceptions in 2021. He only had 3 in 2022.
That's because people were afraid to throw on him, though. Unless it was a wide open, he was getting beat. It was something like that. People weren't throwing on him, weren't risking that. They weren't throwing him 50-50 balls.
Right.
Now, he did get beat a lot.
I feel like he needs to work on his tackling.
But I also think it's going to help having Stephon Gilmore there.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm not all the way negative about the Cowboys.
Look at that.
There are some positive. I think the defense will be a positive,
right? Like
they were last year.
Okay. What about Dante Fowler?
I don't know. We have to see. There's a lot of 50-50 question mark players, because Gallup is one of those. Right. Dante Fowler is one of those. It's like, all right, where we at?
They can use them.
I won't know until I see them play. Mm-hmm. Because Gallup is specifically with Michael Gallup, he's very easy to tell when he's on. It's very easy to tell. His routes, more precise.
Right.
He gets a little bit more separation.
Right. Right.
We didn't see him get any separation last year. I think he rushed back.
Yes. That's the Cowboys training.
Yeah, because we weren't signing a receiver. We weren't trading for one. We weren't actively doing the things that we needed to do in those moments. And so we rushed Gallup back because of it. T.Y. Hilton he didn't produce what we needed him to. He was decent. He got some big third down catches.
He was okay. I didn't want him to use
I didn't expect him to be T.Y. Hilton of Indianapolis, but I did expect a little bit more, but a lot of that was on Dak.
Right.
I think the receivers suffered a lot because of Dak's inconsistent play.
Yes.
So I do think if Dak can get it together, which is a tough task for him.
It starts now.
I know Mike McCarthy wants to run the ball. I know Mike McCarthy wants to run the ball, but I'm like, we've never seen Tony Pollard have starting carries.
Right.
We've never seen him really have more than 15 carries in the game.
I just want to know. This is crazy, but I just want to know how that offense play calling would feel with Mike McCarthy calling it. But yeah, you have Schottenheimer right next to him.
Right.
I just want to know how that's going to work.
It's going to be very interesting. I think, again, the defense is going to win us some games because we do have on paper, we have a very good defense. Potentially, on paper, potentially top 3 in the league.
Yes. Yes.
So, because a lot of the younger guys are getting older, they're getting more mature.
We gotta. Tank is getting up there.
Tank is getting older.
who else? Stephon Gilmore is like 30. He's 31, right?
Yeah, he's 30, early 30s.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
We still have a young defense.
We have a young defense with some veteran maturity,
Right.
which I think will bode well for us on the defensive end of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is just a question mark because we don't know what we have.
Right.
We don't know what we're gonna get.
We got a good offensive line.
We do have
we got a good
we have a
offensive
decent
line.
offensive line.
We're missing our starting left guard who went to Miami.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I just don't know if we have a number 2 receiver right now. Brandon Cooks, like as you said, doesn't know the offense.
He's not a number 2. I just feel like Brandon Cooks is just he's just a slot receiver. He's
That's
not
how I
like
feel
a
too.
deep.
He's not a threat.
Receiver.
He's not a
threat.
massive threat like that.
No.
I think DeAndre Hopkins would get me excited.
Right.
I'm just being honest. I think that changes the way that Dak plays too because DeAndre Hopkins is just that good.
Right.
And I think DeAndre Hopkins would honestly become our number 1. Like he'll become the one because of his level of talent. And then you got CD on the other side who can kill you as well.
Right.
So I think I would love to have DeAndre Hopkins. Will he come here? I don't know.
You got to have the money, in which the Cowboys do have that money.
Cowboys have the money to pay him.
They have the money to pay him, and you got to be invested. The problem was not signing Odell is that they weren't invested in Odell. I think they treated Odell for a ride.
Yeah, and
Odell took it.
They weren't confident. They weren't confident in Odell's ability to really play at that point, because I mean nobody really knew what he'd been sitting around. Just been at the crib for the last year. Like nobody knew what he's capable. And we still don't. I don't know he's gonna be like in Baltimore. We don't know if he's healthy with Lamar Jackson.
I don't know.
So
you should come out in the AFC. Is it AFC? No, not the West.
The
South.
North.
No, North. Sorry. You should come out in the North. So I always pick Baltimore and Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah,
well, I can't.
Cincinnati.
Actually, my bad.
It's a new day. I know what you're talking about.
My bad. It was 3. My bad.
Yeah.
It's Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati will win the division again.
I can't forget about that.
Cincinnati will win that division. Yeah,
they'll win that division.
They'll win that division.
Of course.
I mean, barring injury or something crazy, like they're winning that division.
It will be a major injury to the quarterback if they don't win that division.
Yeah, it's a tough division. I will say that. Even Cleveland is not they got problems, but they're not a team that you can look over. If you're in that division, you got to play them twice a year.
Yeah.
Those are games that you can lose. So, granted, they won't make I don't believe Cleveland will make the playoffs. I don't believe that they're going to be anything special.
No.
But they're a team that you got to fight with a little bit because they do have some talent. Pittsburgh, same way. Like, I don't believe that they'll win that division. I don't think they're going to end up making the playoff. Well, I don't know. Mike Tomlin is just so great.
Yeah, he can make adjustments on the fly.
He can make adjustments on the fly. If you give him enough pieces, he can pull out magic.
Enough pieces.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if they have enough to compete in that division with Baltimore adding Odell and having some of the talent that they have and solidifying Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson will play a little bit more free.
I think so too.
Because he's not playing for a contract. He'll be a little bit more.
Yeah,
we might get to see MVP level Lamar Jackson. Because I think he's been fighting for that contract since then. Yeah.
For a minute.
So I think the freedom of Lamar Jackson and him being like, all right, let's go. And I got a dog in Odell. Let's play ball. I think they got something to work with in Baltimore.
They got tight end Mark Andrews.
They got a tight end who is really just who's their number 1 receiver last year.
Right.
So, you got some stuff to work with in Baltimore. I'm excited to see that team. I don't know what they're going to be in comparison to Cincinnati, but it's a 2-man race in that division.
Oh yeah. That's to me. It's like 3. I can't. It's 3 for me. I feel like
Pittsburgh is sneaky. I get it.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's it's between Pittsburgh and Baltimore for me. I feel like Kelly Pickett's going to take a step up this year. He step up better than
I can see
better than Dak. And I say that because Ben Roethlisberger made some comments last week about him not being good enough and all that stuff, and that's fine. Ben Roethlisberger can say what he wants because Ben was the quarterback for a long time.
From 2004 to whenever he retired.
I think it was 21.
21? He retired in 21?
Yeah,
so. He did.
Yeah, 21. So you need that more. You need more of that mentorship. Well, I think Ben's doing it from afar.
Yeah, he is.
He's not going to do it in the facility. He's doing it from afar. So, speaking of mentorship, if Troy Aikman, it was all the stuff that he has going on right now, can mentor Dak, we will see the betterment of Dak Prescott.
I'm going to tell you something. We got to let Troy Aikman just be Troy Aikman and be the Hall of Fame quarterback that he is. And I say this because they said the same thing with Tony Romo. They said the same thing over the years since Troy has been gone. They said the same thing over the years with every quarterback that we've had. Troy don't want to mentor these little bum quarterbacks. He don't want to do it.
Work ethic.
He just does not want to do that. Like, it's very clear that he doesn't want to be a mentor. He supports the team. Obviously, that's the team that he played for. That's the team that drafted him. Like, he's gonna support the Dallas Cowboys, but he doesn't want to be a mentor.
Right.
He's never been that.
Right.
So we're expecting people to do stuff that they've never done.
Right.
That's not fair to him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that
I need my quarterback to perform better.
Dak, at this point, he's a veteran.
He's
gonna be what he's gonna be.
He's 30 years old this summer.
Yeah, he's gonna be 30 years old this summer. That is a veteran quarterback. He's been in the league 7 years now?
Yes.
7? This is year 7?
This is year 8.
8?
Yep. Has to be. Yeah. It's year 8 because he got drafted in 2016.
So if we're hoping and wishing that Dak is gonna be something that he's not, Cowboys fans love to do that. They love to hope and wish that Dak is gonna turn into this fantastic top 5 quarterback in the league to get us over the hump and take us where we need to go. Dak is not that guy. So you got to find other ways to win. He's a game manager. He's a great game manager.
You got to invest.
Invest in what?
Invest in your product.
What?
No, himself.
Oh, he's got to invest.
He's got to invest in himself as being the starter quarterback. Like I said in the last break, these guys don't care about the game. They care about other things.
And I think Dak cares. I think Dak does everything in his power to be the best that he can be.
I question what
the
he
reality,
says sometimes.
I question what he says a lot too. I don't listen to what Dak says because Dak is very political. I read between the lines of everything that he says. I don't pay him or Mike McCarthy any attention. They are they're the quintessential politically correct interviewer. Every time you see them interview, they say the same politically correct stuff. Go back and watch them interviews.
Oh my gosh.
Go back and watch them interviews.
I watched enough Dak interviews to believe that he has said things that are bull crap.
He's gonna say the right thing for everybody to shut up.
I'm like,
and that's why for me, the Cowboys are brilliant at that. The Cowboys media team, media training team.
I need to find who's their PR.
Their PR team is incredible.
I need to find out who their PR is.
They need a round of applause. Matter of fact, I'm telling you, they need a round of applause. They do amazing work because the reality is they say the right thing in the right moment.
It's a script.
It's clear. It's like talking to somebody at at a freaking collection agency. You know how they sound so robotic, like.
And they're reading off of a script.
Yeah, they're reading off of a script.
They said, Dak, after this San Francisco game, which he lost, go ahead and say this.
We just didn't make enough plays. You know, I got to be better. I got to be better. I got to throw the ball better. We got to be better.
But
we got to make the right play.
Points.
Dog.
You scored 12 points in the playoff.
Threw 2 interceptions. like dog. You can't sit up here and tell me that, oh yeah, we got to be better. We got to do this. I'm gonna commit to X, Y, Z, and I'm gonna do this. Like, bro,
Commit to what?
You saying all of this just to get everybody to shut up and still love you, bro. I get it.
Right.
You're a great guy. Your heart is in the right place. You work hard.
I think people stop loving Dak. I'm sorry.
I get it. I love Dak too. Like,
No,
he's
I'm
a
talking
great
about like
person.
the game.
Yeah, the game.
The quarterback.
He buries his below average play with being a great guy.
Right.
That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
The media stuff, the way that he communicates with the media, the way that he portrays himself in the public, it covers up his mediocre play. And it's been that way for 8 years. And if Cowboys fans think that that's going to change, people show you who they are.
Yes.
Believe them.
Absolutely.
Maya Angelou, famous quote: "When people show you who they are, believe them."
Mm-hmm.
This goes in sports. This goes in everything you do in life. When people show you who they are, believe them. Dak has shown us who he is as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we so delusional to not believe him?
Yeah, that's true.
Coaching needs to do the same thing. They need to believe him when Dak says, I am a game manager. That's everything that his game says to me.
Mm-hmm.
I am a game manager. You want me to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game? No, that's not who I am. Let me be who I am. In the moment they figure that out, things will start to look different.
Mm-hmm.
He won't have to do 35. He won't have to throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the interceptions come in.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who he is.
Right.
We need to understand who he is.
Yeah. And
the sooner we get that, your expectations will be so much lower. Your emotions won't be so invested. We won't be standing outside with little stupid ass hats on and screaming, "Go! How about them Cowboys?" when they won 10 games and they just gonna choke in the playoffs.
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm just being honest. We have to be realistic.
Yo.
Cowboys fans, if you're listening to me, everybody underneath the sound of my voice, I beg of you, get a grip. We're not going anywhere.
But the couch.
But to the crib. We in Mexico every February. We not playing in February, dog.
And that's why he's one of my players to bounce back in 2023. And he's going to be continuing to be on that list until he retires.
And why do we keep putting him on that list? Why do we keep putting him on it? He's not bouncing anywhere.
People say that he can recover back, but he'll have games, like you said, to where he'll perform well. He'll have games he won't perform well.
Do y'all know, everybody that says that, do y'all know what made him play that well early in his career? Think about it. What was making him play that well? We had the league-leading rusher on our team.
Yep, the running game. The running
He
game.
only threw the ball 20 times a game, 20 to 25 times a game.
The running game and Jason Garrett being passive as a coach.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett was a little passive.
He was very passive. Dak was throwing short passes. He was dinking and dunking and doing what his style of quarterback should be doing. That's why Mike McCarthy was screaming, yeah, we want to run the ball. Because everybody knows.
What? You can't run the ball with Ezekiel Elliott running on one leg. You can't run the ball with Tony Pollard getting half of the carries.
And that's where Mike McCarthy is flawed. That's another piece to it.
You can't run the ball like that.
Yeah, that's another piece to it. You're absolutely right. I agree with that part.
Right.
But my point is, there's a reason why he was screaming that. Because we know when Dak is most successful.
Okay.
When the running game is working, Dak is the most successful. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's not that hard.
But let me say this. In Green Bay, they barely ran the ball with Mike McCarthy. Barely.
Yeah.
And with Aaron Rodgers had to make his own magic. So Aaron Rodgers didn't have – he can throw the ball 30, 40 times, and he'll do it effectively. As much as Aaron Rodgers has been not focused on football and doing his ridiculous darkness phase every offseason, he still gets his job done.
Hey, Jamie, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've
He
ever
is.
seen. You can't. That's
He
not.
is.
That's apples to oranges. I get what you're saying. He is one of the greatest
Gabe,
quarterbacks
I just want
we've
him
ever
to
seen.
work. That's the thing.
I get it.
I just want Dak to work. That's all.
I know.
That's it.
I know.
Aaron Rodgers can sit in the dark all day long and still put up 300 plus 5 touchdown games while
know.
sitting in the dark in the offseason.
I know.
This man is in the light.
Yes.
He's in the light and still puts up garbage.
Yep. Lights is on. I know.
It's ridiculous, man.
I know. Get it all out. Get it out.
I mean, okay. Every offseason, Aaron Rodgers sits in the ridiculous dark thinking about his life.
He does.
Thinking about, I'm going to retire today.
Yeah.
And then the Jets, some other team comes calling. The Jets come calling and say, we want you as a quarterback. We hate Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
We want you, Aaron Rodgers. And he goes to the Jets because Alan Lazard is on the Jets. Robert Zarver is on the Jets. Sauce Gardner is on the Jets. He has pieces around him.
He does.
He don't want to be around in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Mike McCartney was horrible in Green Bay. Horrible. Won championship. And then after the 6-7 years, it was over. Mm-hmm. That's why Mike McCartney lost his job in 2018.
Yep.
That's why he sat in retirement in 2019. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, whatever you're doing in the dark, Aaron Rodgers, keep doing that. People make fun of you for that, but you know what? Keep doing that. If he makes you play better, hey, more power to you. Dak, whatever works for you, hey, you better change it. I'm sorry. I hear you. This is my first time. 2022 was my first time I've been listening to every press conference on the internet of him of every single game. Mm-hmm. The first time. I didn't do it over the years because I was in and out. Mm-hmm. And you were right, Gabe, and everybody else that are realist Cowboys fans were right about Dak. Dak is inconsistent in what he's saying. He needs to find vocabulary. He needs to take leadership. Dak needs accountability. I don't know where he's going to get it. He's not going to get it from the Cowboys. He's not going to get. I don't know where he's going to get it. Mm-hmm. Somebody and I say these veterans because I know Troy Aikman's not going to do it, but somebody was in his circle. Somebody that's been a quarterback in the league. Somebody that's been successful in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't have to be in the Hall of Fame, but somebody who's been successful in the league, that knows the league, that knows the pressure, can come into Dallas and try to train this man.
Hey, Jamie, let me ask you something real quick.
Sure. You want me to ask you something? Go ahead. I'll answer the question.
So when it comes to mentorship,
sure.
What is the purpose of a mentor if you're not going to apply what the mentor teaches?
The purpose of a mentor is
the second half of that question is very important. What is the purpose of a mentor if you're not willing to apply it?
The purpose of the mentor is they see the inequalities of your game. They want to fix it, right?
Again, you're missing it.
I'm sorry.
The second half of that question is important. What is the purpose of a mentor if you're not willing to apply what the mentor is teaching? There is no purpose. That's what I want you to. There is no purpose.
Say that?
That's what
you want me to say. That
it's a rhetorical. It's a rhetorical question.
You want me to say that?
Yeah, go ahead. Say it.
There's no purpose.
Exactly. Thank you. So, at the end of the day, we talk about mentorship and everything else, but Dak has had mentors.
Who?
Dak has had people in his corner. Who? He had coaches in his life. He's had people that have assessed his game.
Right.
You had broadcasters. You got people. You got Tony Romo. You got all of these people.
I'm not talking about Tony Romo. I'm talking about successful quarterbacks that know the pressure. Tony Romo does not know of it.
Duh.
He's dealt with it in Dallas, but he's not dealt with it in a natural manner. That's the difference between Dak and Tony.
The point is there's this thing called having too many voices in your ear.
Yes.
I think Dak between Jerry, between Steven, between Mike, between Kellen Moore previously. Because he got a lot of voices.
Yes.
He got broadcasters
Absolutely.
out of the woodwork telling him he's not good enough. You got all of these people. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, mentorship will only go so far. He is as talented as he's going to be. This is it. We've seen him in his prime. He's pushing 30 years old, bro. He'll be 30 years old this summer.
Yep.
Everybody got to stop. Stop expecting him to be something that he's not gonna be. It's okay. It's okay. You just have to know how to. You have to know how to scheme for that.
I'm expecting him to be better on the field. And I'm expecting him to change his tone.
I think a lot
when
of
it comes down to a different year of age.
I get that.
That's what I'm saying, Gabe.
I get that.
His talking point is like in the third person. I don't like that.
But
I don't like that at all.
Listen.
Okay.
Is his talent alone? Just separate everything else. Is his talent alone good enough to get the Cowboys to a Super Bowl?
No.
Exactly. So my point is, the scheme has to fit him. If the scheme don't fit Dak, regardless, the offense is not going to go anywhere. Kellen Moore wanted a Justin Herbert, which is why he got him. Which is why he went on over to LA. Because Justin Herbert was willing to work, one, but two, and we don't know Dak's work ethic, so I don't want to criticize him for that.
I am.
I don't want to criticize him for that because I can't say that he hasn't been working. He was hurt. He coming back. All that kind of stuff. It was a lot going on last season.
Sure.
So we weren't even supposed to be in the position we were in. Our defense got us there. So, again, I preface all of this to say, if the offensive scheme does not fit what Dak is capable of, you have to know his capabilities as a coach. I put this on the scheme. He hasn't had a coach that really understood who he was except for the Jason Garrett period.
Yeah. Jason Garrett.
That's when he was the most successful. There's a reason for that. They wanted to give him more freedom.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that. They wanted to give him more freedom as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And look how that worked out. It hasn't.
Wow.
They paid him all of this money because they knew that they were going to have to invest in him as a quarterback.
Right.
But the reality is he is a game manager. He is a high-level game manager.
It's just too much, bro. It's just too much.
It's the real, bro.
It's real, bro.
It's whenever.
You're right.
When you
You're
take emotion out of it, you see it for what it is.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's why I said you're right. I'm frustrated because you're absolutely right. And so I'm like, I don't know what else I can do.
There's nothing that we can do. We don't work for them. They ain't paying us.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, everyone, we just gotta see what happens.
That's
it's
it.
May 30th. Mini camp is coming soon, mid-June. And then we got what 4 to 5 weeks off, and then training camp will start, and then we'll just go from there. We'll just assess it from there after the preseason.
Yeah.
We'll just assess everybody's game from the defense to the offense to guys who got released, which I have Kelvin Joseph on those lists because Kelvin Joseph, he needs to be released for maturity reasons to grow up a little bit.
And the fact that he's just not good.
Yeah.
I mean, to be frank, you made it to an NFL level, so you have talent.
Right.
Everybody on the NFL level is talented. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted.
Sure.
But on an NFL level, there's good and there's bad.
Right.
He's bad. He's not good. I know that sounds very simple and like almost disrespectful, but I don't mean it in a disrespectful way.
No, it's okay.
I literally feel like he's not good. I've watched him.
He needs to hear this.
His technique is horrible.
He needs to hear this, and everybody that's associated with him needs to hear this.
Yeah. NFL level is a different level, bro. It's a different level. And I don't think he has the stuff to be good on this level.
I was trying to find his highlights. I couldn't find anything but college highlights.
Yeah,
that's how you know
his athleticism is a talent.
That's how you know a player is not good, because if you try to find NFL highlights on that player, you cannot find it.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that is my list. Thank you, Gabe, for my talk today.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much.
Yes, sir.
Guys, next week we're going to talk about the NBA Finals. The first two games, what my assessments were. If you're here again, we'll definitely talk about it. Thank you for listening or watching. Thank you to Sammy. We wish her well.
Yes.
And so, with that being said, everyone, thank you for listening to Beyond the Game podcast. We will see you next week.
Yes,
Take
sir.
care.
Cowboys got something to prove.
Something to prove in 2023. Let's get it.
Let's do it.